Welcome back to the Hemlane Hustle. Today, we have an incredible story of determination, strategy, and long distance real estate investing. Our guests went from 720 in rental income to over $28,000 in just 4 years. That's monthly rental income, while living halfway across the world in Singapore, which I believe they are there today. Han and Tracy, the powerhouse duo behind bite-sized investments, mastered the BRRRR strategy to scale their portfolio to 21 doors of single-family homes and duplexes, all while leveraging cash-out refinances and smart investing principles. Today, their rental portfolio generates over $10,000 per month in cash flow, providing that financial freedom through real estate, even when they're thousands of miles away. I can't wait to dive into their journey, the challenges of investing remotely, and the best advice for growing a portfolio from anywhere. Han and Tracy, welcome to the Hemlane Hustle.
Hello,
Hello.
great to be here.
Introduction, Dana.
Yeah, you made us sound so magical.
Well,
Yeah, I do want to say thanks so much for inviting us to the show. Hemlane has been a very big
Game
changer
changer.
to us, and we have been watching Hemlane grow as well. From like, when was the first time you saw Dana on a podcast or?
Yeah, like a couple of years ago, and it has grown a lot and supporting us with everything. So thank you.
Yeah, and
that's
we always
awesome.
yeah, we never expected to be featured here. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great. One of the things I love about the two of you is I think a lot of podcast guests that you have some sort of motivation where they're looking to sell a book or sell their services or mention some sort of asset class that they're in that may be new. And I think for you guys, what excites me the most is that you built an incredible portfolio, like up to 21 doors with your own capital. There's a lot of people who go on the show and they're like, okay, great, give me capital. But you guys did it with all your own capital. And you also did it from out of the country. I hear so often investors say things such as, I don't have enough capital or money to invest. I'm not close enough to a place that I can afford. And I think that immediately the two of you have gone through and just shown that it is possible. So I want to start with where your journey started to get to scaling to 21 doors. Where did you start when you started with that first $720 in rental income?
Okay, like
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long journey. I didn't start with a silver spoon in my mouth. Our family wasn't very well off. From young, I knew the value of money and the need to hustle. And it didn't help that I got into a job that requires a lot of hours and the working environment wasn't the best. So really had to work very hard, many hours. But everything changed when I read the book, and it was game changer. It was revolutionary. It changed my mind. It helped me to look for investments. More importantly, things that generate cash, passive income. Yeah, it took a long journey because in Asia, over here in Singapore, property prices aren't cheap, so it doesn't cash flow. We have to really look for markets one by one and analyze them to eventually finding a market that truly cash flows. So yeah, pretty long journey.
And how did you find that first market? So you're concentrated in one market, it's in the Midwest. What were some of the things that you did? You put together just an Excel, Google spreadsheet and start putting together pro formas, or what was that strategy for finding your market?
So we actually looked not just in the US, in fact, because we're in Singapore, right? So we
Yeah.
actually we studied which countries have strong rent demand, because obviously we're looking for rental cash flow, right? So we need
Yeah.
somewhere with a renting culture. So that narrowed us to a few countries.
And produce cash flow.
Yeah.
And produce cash flow.
Yeah, first we looked at rent demand. Then after that, we looked at where the price to rent ratio made sense, that it could cash flow. And of course, the friendliness to foreigners to start buying properties and investing there. There are some countries with limitations for foreigners, like foreigners cannot own land, foreigners can only buy new construction. So there are some countries with limitations, but the US is
Very
pretty
welcoming.
free
Yeah.
fall, and we can start our
Business friendly.
we can start our business there from overseas. We don't need a local partner to open a company there. So it's really very business friendly for foreigners.
Yeah, and
But
just to look for the good markets, not only those that rent to price, business friendly, landlord friendly, we also look for places that have growth, population growth, income
mhm.
growth. So these were some of the few criteria that we were looking for to help us find the market.
We did consider also, of course, the risk of natural disasters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which is something.
Natural
Yes,
yeah,
sorry.
natural disasters is something that comes up more and more often, especially with insurance, right?
Yeah, because we were in Asia, there are places like Japan, New Zealand, places like this. So it does helps to shape our mind to know, okay, let's not go to places where there's earthquakes and stuff like that. Yeah, and that extended to other kind of natural disasters like flood, tornado, hurricanes, and stuff like that. Yeah, that helped.
Yeah. All right. I want to start. So, you've gone to the Midwest. You found the US to be very business friendly and business friendly for foreigners, which is fantastic to hear. You used cash out refinances to BRRRR
Mm.
21 properties. Can you walk us through that strategy and how you made that work?
So our very first property, we got it at a very low price, I would say. It was listed on the market for 70 something thousand dollars. It's a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house. And we actually fought it nail and we negotiated it down to $51,000. So that was our very first property, which we used our own cash to close on. It was only $51,000. And a little bit of came into play because this was just at the start of COVID. And when COVID happened, property prices went through the roof. The house literally more than doubled in value. And then we realized, hey, we can do the cash out refinance. We read a lot about at the start before we started, but to do it ourselves, we were not entirely sure because we have not taken a loan before in the US. We have not bought any property before in the US. So we did not know if we could do it, even though at the start we did know about it and it was great. We just got our foot in, bought the house. The price went up so much in just 1 year. We decided to do the cash out refinance and we're like, oh, this is real. Like we used that cash to buy our next duplex for no extra money down. The cash out we took covered the full down payment of a duplex. So with that first $51,000, we do a cash out refinance from the appraised value, and then we got another duplex without even coming up with more of our own savings. And then we were like, okay, this should be the formula. Like we should just BRRRR all the way.
Yeah, and yeah, we did work hard for quite a couple of years and save up the money. But yeah, and so the rest we use from the forced appreciation through the BRRRR. So the strategy is to buy undervalued and then create that appreciation that helps to sort of grow the equity to help us seed the next purchase where we repeat the purchase over and over again. And each time we buy, we try to find undervalued deals. And the rental income in the deal can support the mortgage and other operating expenses, at the same time still have the additional surpluses as cash flow and passive income to help grow our pocket money.
Yeah. Did you ever have to take out and finance it through third party, or were you able to do this of hard work for a couple years yourselves in Singapore, coupled with the BRRRR strategy and the cash out refinance? Did you take any third party money or was it all your own?
So the bulk of the equity in our portfolio, we use from our own savings over
Mhm.
many years, also from the cash out refinance. After we grow to a considerable amount of portfolio, we have close friends and families that know what we are doing and they're interested to get in. So we did open up some private loans through them to help grow the portfolio. But yeah, that's how we managed to grow.
Yeah, and I love that because you were able to prove it out first by saying we're doing it ourselves, we're putting our money where our mouth is. We've proven that this works. Now go ahead and if you're interested, invest. But you didn't really have to go out. I'm sure those family and friends came to you for it. I want to talk about the rehabs you did and just managing properties across the world. I'm very similar to you, where I almost feel like if I have photos, I can talk to a contractor on the ground. I feel very comfortable. Of course, you have to trust the person and build the relationship over time. But what were some of those challenges? And especially on the rehab side, did you have any challenges with working with contractors for the renovations that were done before you placed a tenant?
For sure. I would say our biggest challenge is finding trustworthy people and people who understand our remote challenges, that we are always 12 hours apart from them. And of course, we can't, as foreigners, we don't have some of the local payment systems like Venmo and stuff. So they need to understand a little bit of our challenges and, of course, trustworthy people, because we don't live there, right? We don't have family there, friends there at the start to help us check on things. So all the relationships we have were built from scratch. And we just have to keep networking because we are not physically there. I guess the connection, we don't meet face to face in person. Maybe the impression is not so strong. We did go to our markets a few times to physically meet people.
Yeah.
People also, good people, maybe at the start they work with us, and then after a few years, maybe their priorities in life change and they also move on to do other things. So we do lose, we don't like stick with the same team the whole way because people also move on.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest challenge, to find trustworthy people that understand us. And yeah, so of course there were challenges. I mean, we had contractors that do work halfway and disappear, and then we need to find someone else to pick up the slack. We have contractors that say they finished the work, and we had to find third party independent persons to help us check, to verify,
Yeah.
and things are not done. But I guess it's the same even for the locals, that such things happen, just that is compared to, instead of being able to go down and check it ourselves, we have to create relationships to find a third party that we can trust to go and check on the work.
Yeah, I think that communication is really important there. So to your point, it's if you're messaging a contractor and asking for photos that it's completed and they're not responding or something like that, then it's this isn't a trustworthy person. And so I could definitely see that from a distance. You've built your portfolio that now has a cash flow of over 10,000 per month in just bottom line cash that you get. What does financial freedom mean to you guys?
Yeah, it's what it means to us is that we are able to work on our own terms, choose the projects that we want, and don't be a slave to money in that sense. It allows us to pursue passion projects such as helping people to also achieve the same kind of financial freedom that we have. We do have aspirations to be able to do social enterprises. We personally, particular, like to pursue climate changes,
Yeah.
to find solutions for climate changes, maybe recycling organic waste or promote sustainable eating. She's vegan,
Okay.
to prevent animal sufferings. Because yeah, so these are some of the things that we hope that we can find initiatives or policies to be able to shape society. So yeah, we get to choose the projects that we want to work on, and that's financial freedom for us.
That's awesome. And are you still growing your real estate portfolio in the Midwest, or have those goals shifted to this social economic type initiatives?
We are definitely continue to grow because what we have now is time. So we're able to split our times between our aspiration projects and also our real estate portfolio. And it's exciting to continue to grow and learn. We don't think that we know all the things already, and the market is always changing, so it's good to have a pulse on the market to really understand how things are going, where things are going, like for example interest rates, demand and supply, and all those things. Being on top of the thing helps us to really get to know the market a lot better.
Yeah. If you could go back and start all over again, what would you do differently?
Buy
start
more.
start earlier.
And yeah, we did talk about that one to find Hemlane earlier.
Okay. I like
Be a
that one.
game changer. Yeah.
What are the biggest misconceptions you think there are with the BRRRR strategy?
I think a lot of people when that we talk to, one of the most common questions we get, isn't it very bad to take a lot of debt? Because the BRRRR is essentially using debt and leverage
Mhm.
to your portfolio. So a lot of people ask us, isn't it very bad to take debt?
Key.
Yeah, just yesterday
Mhm.
somebody told me, isn't it good if you can clear all your debt and own all your houses free of debt? So we think, just like what we learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad or Robert Kiyosaki in general, that good debt is a powerful tool to scale your financial wealth, and you just need to do your due diligence to manage your risk, right market, choose the right property, choose the right neighborhood, and
Be conservative, have enough buffers and stress test different scenarios to make sure that if things do happen, you're not overstretched, have reserves. So I understand why that person shared with us that we shouldn't get we should clear all our loans and clear our debt. He's coming from a place of a good place and good place of love, but we also know that not many people understand how to use good debt effectively. We think that we understand how to use other people's time, other people's money to help us achieve our financial goals. So that's one misconception of BRRRR is to debt is dangerous, debt is bad. The other one is that you have to fly to the place, you have to be 1 hour away from your property or else you can't invest, you'll be scammed and stuff like that. And that is possibly true in the 80s, 90s when internet was not prevalent. But today, with technology, with a set of know-hows and how to run business asynchronously, it is possible to do bursts, even to the extent of people build multi-billion dollar company being remote. Like they have offices all over the place. So there is from the CEO, for example, in one region, the Silicon Valley, but they have footprints and operations all over the world. We find that the kind of thinking that you have to buy real estate only in 1 hour away from you is a misconception, and we are able to scale and grow our portfolio.
That's awesome. And I love that. I love that point that you made about good debt because it's a fixed rate debt that you can get. And so there's others that are variable. And so there's a lot of risk mitigation you can do with the single family and the duplexes. Speaking of, interest rates have changed a lot substantially since you first invested. Do you think that you could still do that same strategy today and go from literally 720 in rent in your first property and scale 21 doors in the same amount of time using the same strategy today as you did when you started, what was it, 5 or 6 years ago?
for sure, the US is really big and there's a lot of markets. You just need to do more homework to study more markets. We studied for a good 1-2 years before choosing our first market. But
Okay.
in the process, we have seen many other potential markets that could yield the same results. We are actually closing on our 22nd house in a few weeks' time, and it's going to be a BRRRR again. We closed on houses recently in this high interest rate environment. November last year is just a few months ago. You just need to choose the right markets.
Yeah, what Tracy is trying to share is that yes, we did enjoy some great headwinds during COVID, and we still managed to successfully do BRRRR. In fact, those BRRRRs that we did last year were, they call it the perfect BRRRR or the infinite deal, where we managed to pull out all our equities. Although, granted, that is a lot harder to do. Like in the past, it was like every house that you run your numbers on, there's a very high chance that you can do an infinite BRRRR. Today, that is a lot harder, but it is still possible. So we truly believe that it is possible to do BRRRR. Maybe not 100%, but still can do BRRRR. Last year, this year, next year, yeah. The concept didn't change. Find undervalued deals, operate properly, manage your operational cost, and then after that refinance. And the good thing is, even though it is high interest rate today, of course, we hope that it doesn't go significantly higher. The good
Yeah.
thing is that say in a couple of years' time, interest rate do moderate to a more friendlier pace, what does that mean to our portfolio? It means we can refinance again. And what does that mean to our cash flow? Mind blown.
Yeah, I love that. What has been the wildest or most unexpected experience in your real estate investing journey? I'm sure you have quite a few stories.
Yeah,
Oh,
tons of
oh man.
tons of wow, crazy
Yeah.
stories.
Maybe we'll share about this one. It was our very second
Yeah.
property we ever bought. So we were still noobs in a sense. And we bought it, it was vacant, so we needed to put a tenant in. And we spent some money to get it rent ready, change the floor, paint, everything was nice. So we had a property manager at that time. We used a particular property manager. And the property manager did their leasing and they say, oh, we found a guy. He seems really nice. His boss says great things about him, but he has a few red flags that at that time, being new, we were not very familiar with tenant red flags. But now,
Okay.
looking
Yeah.
back, if I tell you what they are, you will get it. So, for example, he has an eviction history in recent
Mhm.
times, like just in the
Multiple.
multiple
Multiple
eviction.
eviction.
Oh, wow. So multiple times going to
But
court
the thing is,
with the
oh,
landlord winning.
his boss was that there was claims that the boss says he has changed over a new lease. He's doing everything that he's doing right. He's willing to move in right now because it was vacant for a while. He has money. He makes a lot of money. He can pay 3 months upfront. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just terrible advice.
Now we know anybody that can move in immediately, there must be something. Usually there is something wrong. And anybody that offers to pay 3 or 4 months upfront, we also know that it could be because there is something wrong. But at that time, it sounded great, right? Like, hey, he's
Yeah.
gonna pay 3 months upfront, and this was advice from the property manager. He's gonna pay 3 months upfront. He's great. And so we were like, yeah, okay, and then we put him in, and within 6 months, not only did he stop paying, we had a report from the police,
Yeah.
and the police said that the person staying at this house punched the neighbor. Not only that, another occasion we received another report from the police that he was carrying guns and threatened people along the street.
Menacing. Guns were not. I'm not sure the details, but there were some. It wasn't good. It was worrying, and we
Yeah.
had multiple code violations. Parking on, I think the front yard that's not
Parking
on the driveway. Yeah.
on the
Oh.
yard and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it was
so basically, the neighborhood became more dangerous because of
Yeah,
the
crime rate went way up in that
yeah, crime
neighborhood.
neighborhood went down.
Value goes down because of that. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
I'm sure you learned your lessons from that. And yes, I think anyone who's been in property management was have probably run. Hopefully, that property manager learned quite a few lessons from that experience. I'm sure this experience has brought a lot of knowledge to you. What's a quote you live by and why?
mine would be that one day your life will flash before your eyes. So make sure it's worth watching. If all your life all you did was, oh, I have to go to work, okay, oh, boss say this, okay, oh, today was overtime, oh, I'm so sad, but I still continue doing that and don't do anything to change it. And when I'm 70 or 80, when I look back at my life, I'll be like, what have I done that was really meaningful or that I really enjoyed? And I'll be like, it wouldn't be worth watching. So to me, our time on this earth is finite.
So for me, it's the best version of yourself. So it's like almost similar to what she's saying, but basically it's yeah, you think about it. Did you really put in your best? Did you do the things that you do to fulfill your potential, to fulfill your capabilities, and to fulfill your aspirations? And if you're not, then you're leaving stones unturned. You're not doing what is best for yourself. Yeah, always be the best version of yourself. So for me, it's like I will cram a lot of podcasts when I'm like trying to do in between stuff and I'm not maximizing 100% of my brain. Like when I'm driving the car, when I'm riding my motorbike, I'll be listening to podcasts. And when I'm going to gym, instead of listening to music, I listen to podcasts. And that's how I found Hemlane.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. And now you guys have your own education resources to help other investors out of country, but also in country with investments. It's called Bite Size Investments. What are your big goals for the future?
We hope to systemize. Right now, our team is really small. It's just the two of us and a couple of virtual assistants. So we are trying to systemize our processes, train people to come on board, and to really scale.
Yeah. And by scaling, we can help more people to replicate the system that we have and then to be able to, help them and achieve their dreams.
Great. And if our listeners want to learn more about bite-sized investments, follow your education and resources, how can they find out more?
We have a YouTube channel. We share our deals over there, as in our real life numbers, how we did it. We share tips, landlord tips. We share our horror stories. So I think that's a great way to check out what we're doing.
Learning
And
experience.
yeah, we also have an Instagram, bite-sized investments, that people can follow us for our day-to-day stuff. We share stories and random stuff that we do in the day. And we actually came up with a free course that we broke it down into 6 bite-sized parts, just for people to get a summary of what we are doing, why we're doing it, and the BRRRR strategy, especially to non-US citizens or non-US people. I don't think people know what is the BRRRR much outside of the US. Like, not in Asia for sure, nobody knows what is the BRRRR, except if they watch videos from the US. So it's really to give people a flavor of this BRRRR strategy, and to show them that we, as very normal people coming from very humble beginnings, managed to do it from afar. It's something that we feel anyone can pick up and start their journey.
Yeah.
I,
So a lot of free
I love that.
resources.
I love
Yeah.
that. All of that will be in the show notes here. So go ahead and check out the show notes. Bite-sized investments, in case you want to see it on Instagram or on YouTube. It's a BYTE space-sized investments. Tracy and Han, I can't thank you enough. I think you guys are an inspiration to everyone with how you guys built up your portfolio to 22 doors and did it all through the BRRRR strategy. So thanks so much for joining.